Hey y'all, I just kind of wanted to give an update into what exactly is going on with the channel. I'm going to turn myself down a little bit and hopefully I'm not blowing out your eardrums. So, with that being said, I understand I've been kind of gone a fair bit of time. I'm putting gameplay in the background. It's my own gameplay, so no one try to claim it as theirs. It's my own gameplay. I'm actually going to turn myself back up. But, it's Raven Wing Gaming again. I've been apparently gone for 11 months. I haven't. When I initially recorded this, just so you know, the reason why I'm not exactly 100% on par, I was trying to actively record this while I was playing the game, and I don't know why, but the entire audio bit for that is completely dead. And for whatever reason, NVIDIA is not at all wanting to pick up my microphone. I don't know what's going on with that. I really don't know, honestly. I'm not sure if it's just my microphone or what is going on, but I figured I'd at least keep you all updated on what's going on. I kept it to where the game audio is still there, but it's not exactly as bad, or not as loud. So, there's all the things to do with that. Uh, so I've had quite a few things happen in my life. Went through an entire relationship. Went through at least about 2 different jobs. Currently financially struggling in terms of payments. I'm currently doing $1,000 plus a month payments at the current moment. Reason for that being is because I got at least 3 different things. One I'm having to pay every 2 weeks, and two I'm paying every month. If you guys hear me moving around in the background and everything else like that, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get it to where my mic is set to where I'm not extremely quiet, but I'm also not absolutely deafening, so if I'm kind of adjusting in volume a little bit here, it's just so I'm kind of trying to get it to where the mic's on the higher end of the side of things. So I'm not excessively loud, but I'm not blowing out your eardrums either. But I'm not also at a whisper, so I put it up to 85 now, so it shouldn't be at full blast. It was initially at 100, and then I dropped it down to 70, and now it's back up to 85, so I'm keeping it about where I want it to be, which is about right here. So a lot of things have been kind of going on in life. Like I said, in general, I've learned quite a few things about myself, and no, it's not from the relationship. Um, a lot of it actually is a potential for ADHD, uh, with also Asperger's syndrome. That's the physical, that's the medical term for it. I'm not going to try to readjust anything just because of one thing or another. But yeah, that's an interesting time to say the least. Again, nothing's confirmed. I can't exactly get it confirmed. The last time I got tested for anything was ADD, and I was really young at that point, so it's kind of a fair bit of time before anything has happened again. So with that being said, there is that. Um, Overall, in general, I have been kind of really lacking on the videos. I understand that. It's not exactly something I would consider, fun or a good time. And it's not exactly something, I've been enjoying for a whole bit. And for me, overall, it's one of these things where it's in a struggle. It truly is. It is a struggle while I am trying to do all these other things. And for me, it's hard to want to try to do videos and things like that when you have all these other things distracting you in the background. I want to be able to provide quality content. So I've been trying to figure out I'll have mood shifts and I'm trying to figure out what's going on with them. And for me, I'm getting things I got medication. I do probably need to up the dose because I'll be honest with y'all. Forgive the yawning. I'll be honest with y'all. I'm a BMI index of 60 something, 60 point something, 60.85 or something like that. I'm a fat dude. I'm a really big guy. I'm not even gonna begin to try to do the whole fat acceptance anything, and that's slightly getting on the political side of things, I guess, unintentionally. But I'm brutally honest. That's another factor I've learned about myself. I am extremely brutally honest, sometimes to a point to where I've actually killed relationships because of it, whether it's friends or otherwise, just because I'm that brutally honest about things. And I am aware it can affect some things. I'm not upset about that. It's nothing new to me that those can actually cause problems. But for me, it's one of these ordeals where this is something I struggle to deal with. It's something I struggle to deal with. It's something I've been trying to deal with, and it's not exactly something I would call, again, fun. For me, like I said, I've been trying to go through, like, I've tried medication for like a number of years. It stopped working. Uh, if you see me, like, I'm like recording this actively as I'm like watching this. That little jiggle I did, that was me like trying to say that there was a guy like over there in that location. Again, I was trying to do like active things. Like, trust me, I am not I am not technologically inclined enough to even use uh, hacks of any sort. So everything I do is legit, whether it's to my own frustration or not. The only thing that wouldn't be legitimate with me is me using like Wiimod and like car dealership simulator. Just after pretty much already beating the game, just because I'm like, well, I'm just trying to achievement hunt at this point, or trying to achievement farm it. So I just get cash, so I could just buy a crap ton of vehicles in the game and just literally just do all the objectives I need to do to 100% the game and call it done. You know, that's things like that. That's all I do. So we're now on to the second clip of things. So I'm gonna try not to. I'll try not to drag this out too far. Like I said, this wasn't exactly my greatest of gameplays in this because I was again trying to actively record and talk, and my audio wasn't even being picked up. And like, the worst part is, like halfway through it, it's like I just got a notification on the thing that said like Norton 360 was like preventing the thing from running, like the NVIDIA from running. And let me tell you, that was very frustrating. And to be honest with y'all, outside of this has been like my third time of attempting to basically like record everything. So if it seems like I have any tins of frustration, that's kind of why. It's not I'm in a bad mood or anything. It's just like I genuinely just get frustrated. So for me, uh, I'd like to try to see what I can do to fix that issue to where I actually have the option of not only gameplay but my voice as well. I'm not quite sure how to fix that right now. I'm using an audio program that I have like a lifetime subscription with, that like a video editing software that I did the lifetime subscription with, and hopefully that works. And hopefully this is actually recording my voice and I'm not having to do this again for a fourth time. But to kind of get back to the whole thing, there's multiple reasons why I say I have the ADHD Asperger's syndrome. Is because, sorry for the timer in the background there, it's for my resin soak-up a miniature I'm trying to get my previous paint job off of, which was from a secondary previous relationship. And that's all that paint job reminds me of. Plus, I'll be honest, it was a shit paint job. Like, I had caked primer on that damn thing. That poor thing needed something. But overall, it's like I'm trying to keep the audio as raw as I can to let you all know, like, or to kind of show like, hey, I'm not perfect. I'm not gonna be perfect. In general, I'm gonna have things where I get frustrated. I'm gonna have times where I get annoyed, and I'm gonna have times where I screw up because I'm trying to keep the audio as raw as I possibly can, and that's why I'm probably gonna upload this video with absolutely no editing whatsoever. Because for me, it's one of these ordeals where it's like I don't want to seem like I'm perfect. Granted, yes, I have perfectionism in crafts that I do, but I don't want to seem like I'm Captain Perfect. I don't want to seem like I don't have issues. I don't want to seem like you know, that I am living a perfect life. I'm not. I have a damn good vehicle that's off-road capable, like extremely off-road capable. But on that same aspect, I don't have I'm not driving a sports car. You know, I'm not living in a two-story mansion. You know, I'm not living the life of luxury. To me, but everyone's definition of luxury differs a little bit. And for me, it's just one of those ordeals where it's like I'm trying to get out of a rut a little bit. You know, I've been kind of going through a lot of things. Like I said, like I've already previously mentioned, you know, I've been kind of going through a whole lot of ordeals with everything between relationships, between jobs, between medication, and everything else in between. Um, yeah, I've been kind of. If you ever, like I said, if I ever, like I'm seeing myself do right now, if you ever see me do anything weird in this, like I said, I'm just trying to like live record the audio, and like none of the audio recorded at all. So that's another reason why. So I'm kind of also somewhat raw audio recording over it after the factor, and I've reduced the sound by like 25 decibels. So hopefully the audio is quieted enough, and I'm not like excessively loud or like completely drowning out everything. I wanted some kind of gameplay in the background, and like for example, I just had a voice crack. I'm not sure if y'all picked up on it, but like there's things like that. Also, and y'all probably already just noticed this, topic jumping. I jump topics a lot. I will sometimes like completely derail on what I'm talking about, only to try to circle back to the same point I was initially trying to make. And I've either completely lost my train of thought or something along those lines, where it's like I remember exactly what I'm trying to say, but I've derailed myself so heavily that trying to get back to the point's now just confusing, or it's something else along those lines. But I know overall, for me, it's one of these times where, you know, I will jump topics. I will derail myself. I will not make sense. You know, I'll even confuse myself. Like I'll walk into a room and forget why the hell I even walked in there. You know, I'll have like three drinks on hand that all serve a different purpose. You know, I'll have all of these things that just it, they don't make sense. No, but at the end of the day, it's for me. It's just one of these things where it's like it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, acts like a duck. It's probably a duck. So although yes, it's not officially confirmed, getting it confirmed is too damn expensive. Um, which flavor of ADHD, whether inattentive or hyperactive, I have no idea. But considering I pretty much have shown every single sign consistently, I would say it's probably hardcore ADHD, less so of the Asperger's syndrome. I would definitely say it's just, in all honesty, I would say it's a touch of Asperger's syndrome. More, I'd say it's like 10% Asperger's syndrome, 90% ADHD, and whatever like decimal points it would be in between, with just general personality type to add on to things would just be just general, um, not isolationist. There's an introvert. Both start with an I. It's just I'm a very introverted person. You know, I enjoy my time to myself. I enjoy my quiet time. I enjoy my games. I enjoy my hobbies, and gaming for me is one of my various hobbies, along with like painting miniatures and everything else like that. And I thought about getting into woodworking, you know, like tearing apart old pallets and things like that, in an effort of trying to say, uh, you know, like create small things out of that that I could sell potentially. So that's all things I like to try to do. And for me, that's just, you know, it's one of those things where it's like I like to try to do those things. I like to have things I can do on the side that for me are fun. And if I'm ever boring you guys, you know, I'm sorry. There'll be times where I've also like emotional dysregularity. For example, like something could happen, like for example, during like the Fortnite horror maps and all that, I would get disconnected about 30 minutes into the damn thing. And let me tell you, when you're immersed in something, granted, not every single one of them were great. There was like I forget one map. I think it's the Lost in the Void one, or Went into the Void. I forget what the title was exactly, but it's like there was that where it's like you couldn't even get it to where like the actual footage would be 100% usable. I almost debated not using it just because I couldn't actually finish the map. And to me, like that's not fun when you can't exactly finish the map. because for me that's one of those ordeals where it's just like it's a boring outcome. You don't get to see what actually happens with the map, and then that because like for one reason or another it just soft locked. Not really entirely sure what the hell happened with that one, but it's like for example, like the Wendigo map, like that one I would say, and honest to God, was actually well designed. Granted, it's a Fortnite horror map, yes, but in my opinion, it was well designed. It's a rare day when I could say something like a Gary's mod or a Fortnite map actually, gives me kind of a bit of a fright. And mostly what frightens me is just randomly being ambushed. But that's more of just like, oh shit, that's not like a hey, I'm actually scared. Um, like actually startled for a second. So it's like, there'll be things like that. And, like I said, for me, it's, I'll have moments where it's like, you know, I get distracted. For example, like just me looking at the video, often like it's a tiny box for me, but for y'all it'll be like a whole ass screen. You'll hear me like adjusting my mic, scratching my face, scratching my face, scratching my arms, readjusting my glasses, readjusting my mic, readjusting my headphones. All of that is things I do purely because, it's like, that's another thing. I can't really sit still. It's like I can't really sit still. I can't really do that 100% without like just thinking of 500 other things all at the same time simultaneously, talking in monotone when I don't exactly intend to. All of these are things I wind up doing and I don't exactly mean to. I mean, for God's sake, I'm using a DeWalt toolbox that, granted, it has tools in it. I am using a toolbox as a footrest underneath a fold-out table in front of an L-shaped desk. So, yeah, if that's anything to kind of go off of in terms of the kind of setup, like I am a very simplistic individual. I do exhibit a lot of things like um, constantly needing to fiddle around with something. That's why you might hear me mess with things in the background. That's why you might see me like take a drink whenever I get my camera set up. Sorry, I needed something to drink, but that might avoid more. See, this is another thing. I'm losing train of thought. That's another thing. I don't have like a list in front of me because it's raw audio, and I'm trying to keep it raw audio, so it's more authentic, it's more realistic, it's more relatable. And it's just, I'm losing my damn train of thought. I swear to God. Without all those things aside, though, I genuinely enjoy making things. Whether that's videos, whether that's crafts, whether that's jewelry, whatever it is. But for me, I'm stopping the jewelry thing. I'm going to be selling off a lot of those tools, so I'm going to be swapping and potentially trying to woodwork. I got a job that's really easy. All I'm doing is on a sit-down forklift all day, moving pallets from one location to another. I'm not scanning anything. I'm not having to scan anything. None of that. It's great. I mean, for what I get paid for it, it is a beautiful job. And to me, I couldn't ask for anything easier to do. There's no RF systems. It's not a food mandated facility. I can have drinks in there. It doesn't have to be just water. Things like that. And to me, it's great because of it. Because like I can actually have a non-clear water bottle and not at all have any issues. Like as long as I can basically like say, hey, you guys can sniff it. It's literally just clear water, and all I would do is just add Propel into it, which doesn't change it. It just tastes how it tastes. It just changes how it tastes. That's all it is. So it's a beautiful thing, and I like it. The only downside to it is it's not temp controlled, but I have been in places where it's like 120 degrees in there, Fahrenheit, mind you. And just doing a quick conversion rate for in case I have anybody over in the EU. That is the European area that's not exactly used to Fahrenheit. 120 Fahrenheit to Celsius. For those in England or any other place in Europe, 120 degrees Fahrenheit is about 48.889 degrees Celsius. So pretty much 48.9 degrees Celsius. Been in places like that where there's no fans, no ventilation, nothing. And it's just it's hell. Like, and that was my very first job. I was like 15, 17, somewhere around that range. And it's like I honest to God, that was like the most I've ever sweat in my life. And it was just it was like I said, it was very frustrating. It was a very hot environment. So it's nothing I'm not used to. It's like one of those things like, yes, you will sweat, but you're sitting on your ass on a forklift. How badly can you actually sweat? Not very badly. You'll get thirsty, yes, because it's a dirty warehouse. It's dusty. You're dealing with used Chet pallets all day, which are the blue chemically treated painted ones. So it's like, yeah, yeah, they're gonna be dirty pallets. Yeah, it's gonna be a dusty ass warehouse, but it's an easy job. So it's like, because it's an easy job, it's there's nothing to really get upset about. Now, in terms of also authenticity, I don't know why that tripped me up so badly. Um, I don't have the little foam blocks off in the corners, so my voice will echo in my room. I got posters up and things like that. I got a flag. I'm probably going to have a second flag hanging up. I'm not going to have the audio canceling or audio reducing panels. I don't have a dedicated recording room. I have my fan running in the background because it gets hot in here because my bedroom door is shut. In order to cancel out most of the noise from the family being home. I'm not going to have them not make a single peep just because, I'm not going to have them not make a peep just because they're home and I'm recording. Like, that's not fair to them. So, I mean, like I said, it's a whole shebang worth of stuff. And for me, like I said, it's fun for me to be able to create things. It's fun for me to be able to make an impact. It's fun for me to be able to do the variety of things that I do. And honest to God, I enjoy, making a difference. I enjoy doing things that help. Granted, I don't always do things that like matter. Like, for example, like playing a Fortnite horror map. That honest to God, probably no one gives a shit about that. I mean, if I saw someone playing a Fortnite horror map and with me having lost a severe interest in Fortnite, I mean, for one, so much has changed, and it was one of those things where it's like I was off of it for like 2 years after playing it initially. There was like some kind of weird ass Halloween event, stopped playing it for 2 years, and got back onto it for, I would say, the third time around the time when I was making videos, and I was kind of doing pretty good. Was trying to train for it to try to see if I could go pro. Yeah, I'm not a pro gamer. I'm definitely a casual gamer. That's not going to be a way I make money. I have just kind of come to accept that. Like, that is not how I'm going to make money. Not even playing like Space Marine 2 PvP. I would not say, like, I'd say I'm okay. I'd say I'm, I guess better than your average player. But even with this gameplay footage, granted it's not my best, I've had matches where I'm like absolutely like dominating, like 20 to 5 KDR, things like that. It's kill to death ratio. It's like I'm taking out like at least 5 dudes per every death, basically. That type of thing. Or it's like at least 4 to 5, somewhere around there. Three, anywhere from 3 to 5 per death. I've had really good matches on this game, but that aside, I'm not at all a pro gamer. I'm very casual. I like to enjoy my games. I like to, enjoy what I do. I like to not stress 24/7 about everything I'm doing. That's why I don't play games on like the absolute hardest hardcore difficulty. I don't play Vermintide 2 on Cataclysm. I don't play Halo on the hardest difficulty. I tried to. Oh boy, oh boy, ooh, that is that's a toughie. That is a tough one right there. Especially the remake. That's a tough one right there. But it's not impossible. I mean, I was getting through it. It's really damn difficult. Frustratingly so. Not exactly one I would want to continue doing. And because of that, for me, it's not something I enjoy. So I would rather play casual games. Now, with that being said, of the time of me recording this, I also have a couple other games I've got picked up. I've got Dark Hours, Dredge, Content Warning, And providing I can get this NVIDIA thing figured out and I'm not just having to use my video editing program and recording my voice actively and having to add in the video over it and try to get it as lined up as I possibly can. Providing I'm not having to do that as a workaround, for whatever reason the audio for this game clip is a little bit louder even though it's reduced by the same amount. Not sure why, but with that being said, I'm trying not to extend this out any further than I already have to. And for me, it's like I said, there's a lot of things that have kind of gone on. I well understand I've been repeating myself really badly. I understand I've been like saying a lot of dumb things. I've been saying, you know, just general updates in my life that some may not even care about. I get that. But, you know, there are things like, you know, that are, I guess, important for the channel. So before this clip ends, I'm getting close to running out of time because I've been kind of just blah 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 blah. I've had quite a number of updates. I'm going to be trying to upload a little bit more consistently. I'm going to be trying to make sure I keep up with the videos and keep things consistent. With that being said, I appreciate every single one of you being here. I appreciate all that you do. And I ask that, you know, if y'all liked the video, like it, potentially subscribe if I've earned your subscription. Again, I'm going to be trying to somewhat upload videos a little bit more consistently. I might be getting involved with one of my buddies that was a previous coworker of mine from yet another previous job from one of the ones I told you all about, you know, of the various previous ones, where it might be vehicle detailing, motorcycle, vehicle cleaning, detailing, you know, not the customer rolled in and it's a cockroach infestation, you know, not dealing with that, but like just general cleaning. And things like that. So hopefully that'll take off and that'll go somewhere. But outside of that, you know, I'm going to be trying to, you know, do what I can to record videos. But anyway, I appreciate y'all watching. Thank you very much for listening to me just kind of go on and on. You know, it helps me talk. It helps me think. It helps me, you know, do what I'm going to do. And it helps me understand it helps me to help y'all understand what's going on. Again, thank you very much. This is Ravenwing Gaming. I might change the channel name to something different. Thank you very much for watching, and I am out.